What's up, y'all? This is Jonathan Lippy, Beyond the Harmony, beyondtheharmony.com. Today, we are reviewing the Krayzie Bone Thug on the Line album. The first thing anybody thinks of when they think of this album is obviously the song with Sade, Hard Time Hustlin'. But the second and third song everybody thinks about is not what everybody postures about. See, everybody is going to represent for the thuggish, ruggish Bone. They want Bone rugged and raw, down for my thing, creeping on a come up eternal. They want that thuggish, ruggish Bone. But, you know, my position is always like, I kind of like the thugs in harmony. And I'm always advocating for it. And I'm doing it somewhat to trigger the audience, but also to be the spokesperson for those that are afraid to admit their true feelings and what they actually want to hear with music. And the more I found in life is the more you admit what you want, the more you get. Because if you're just going with the crowd and saying, yeah, I want that thug shit, you're only going to get that thug shit. And if you think about poor Krayzie on Don't Mistake My Kindness for Weakness, humble yet ready to roll, my violent side I can't deny. He had to defend. You see us in the videos and you think that we ain't true to what we say. You know how everybody thought they were soft after making the CROSSROADS, even though it was a beautiful song that the whole world loved. They were supposed to feel guilty about it, like they were soft or they weren't tough guys because they made a nice song that appealed to everybody. That no, keeping it real means you make songs that only appeal to a small, tiny fraction percentage of people. Anyway, with all that said, okay, Krayzie Bone's second album, his sophomore album, Thug on the Line, coming after thug mentality. And I said that Hard Time Hustlin's the first track you think of because it's the single. But what does everybody really think about when they think about Thug on the Line? When people think, what are my two favorite songs on Thug on the Line? Is it A Thugga Level? No. Is it The Thugs? No. Is it Everybody Wanna Be Thugs? No. Is it Ready for Combat? No. Is it Thug on the Line? No. Is it If You a Thug? No. Is it Ride the Thug Line? No. Is it Y'all Don't Know Me? No. Is it Bloody Murder? No. You want to know what it is? Time after time find I question my life. That one. But even more than that, Talk to Myself. So many people list Talk to Myself and Time After Time as their top two favorite songs on Thug on the Line. Okay? On Thug on the Line. With all those song titles that I told you about, the whole album consisting of thug shit. But in the end, what people like the most are the two softest songs on the album. Time After Time and Talk to Myself. Now, I'm saying that in a mean, sneaky way, but I'm saying it like this because it's advancing my angle. My position is that Bone fans like soft shit, but there's other Bone fans that really, literally just want that thug shit. And they ruin it for everybody else that want the nice harmony stuff, the explorative stuff, the self-reflecting stuff, the nice musical ones. And so for this out, that's the thing that I learned from this is as thuggish, ruggish Bone as this album tried to be, and as thuggish, ruggish Bone as Bone fans claim they are, how is it that Talk to Myself and Time After Time are the two favorite songs on the album? And it's not to say that they're the only two good, because you could say, well, they're the only two good songs on the album. It's like, no, that's not true. And so that's another angle. So now that I did my little Johnny rubbing it in your eye, saying that, hey, we all actually like nice, soft songs that are reflective and giving of our spirits and souls, and it's not about shooting people and killing people. I want to say that Krayzie Bone Thug on the Line may actually be the most underrated album in the entire Bone collection, including group albums, because this album gets forgotten and it never gets appreciated for what it is. His first album, obviously, Thug Mentality 99, double CD. Everybody has that. Everybody acknowledges that. Everybody says that's the best Krayzie Bone album. And it is. But they should say, many should say like, hey man, this Thug on the Line, first off, when this came out, I remember thinking like, dog, you're going to give me a whole other 20-track album, Krayzie? I mean, you just gave me a double CD. I wasn't expecting this. And it felt like, Thug Mentality came and this one just dropped out of nowhere. So I was like, bro, another 20 tracks from Krayzie Bone. Pfft. All right, let's check it out. Now, I think the only difference between Thug on the Line and Thug Mentality 99, and the reason why we appreciate Thug Mentality 99 more than Thug on the Line was Thug Mentality 99 was with Lobel and it was with an all-star cast of features. So it gave the album an illustrious, elite feel to it. Whereas Thug on the Line, the guests are basically Thug Line artists. And there's no big features on it. It's mainly Krayzie Bone and all of his artists. There's a theory in the industry called the sophomore slump. So there was a tremendous success for Thug Mentality 99. Was Thug on the Line a sophomore slump? I say no. It's a solid second album. It's not as good as the first album, but I don't even think it's fair to compare the two. Because the first album was a double CD, major label, with major marketing that would have kept going had Resurrection not cut it all short. Thug on the Line felt like there was almost zero marketing for it other than seeing Krayzie on Rap City a few times. And, Hard Time Hustlin' was the only single that I saw. I always wondered what the second single would have been. Would it have been a Thugga Level? Would it have been Talk to Myself? Would it have been Everybody Want to Be Thugs? Like, I have no idea what they had in mind for a follow-up single. And I've never been a fan of the Thug Line artists or the Life Entertainment artists. I made my own version of Thug on a Line where I cut all of them out except for Boss and Larice. Now, and I'll admit, I like girl rappers for the most part. All my guy friends, they're misogynistic. They're like, they don't even think girls should be rapping. I always liked the girl rappers, but I grew up in the early ages of hip hop. There were good female rappers, Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Yo-Yo, all of them. I had good role models, good examples of what quality female rap could be. So I'm good with Boss. Boss was from my era when I was in my early teens. And Larice is cool too. I'm good with them, but all the guy rappers, I cut all them out. Minus, I love the Night Riders. In fact, the Night Riders song on this album, I like more than the Night Riders song on Thug Mentality 99. I do think the Thug Mentality 99 Night Rider song is good though, but I put the one on it, this one about being the pirates. I love that thing. So let's go through these tracks one by one. First, I just want to say and re-acknowledge and reset the thing. Yes, Hard Time Hustlin' is the single, but in my experience, everybody that talks about this album, if they even talk about it, because it's forgotten, it's like it's unacknowledged, they all like Talk to Myself and they all like Time After Time. But let me phrase that even more. Okay? They don't merely like Talk to Myself. It's not even that they love Talk to Myself. Talk to Myself is like their song. It's theirs. They own it. There's so many people think like they are the one. They are the one that found Talk to Myself and declared it the greatest Krayzie Bone song of all time. Talk to Myself is always in people's top 5 Krayzie Bone song lists. They like it so much. All right, how's this? Okay, every Krayzie Bone First fan, meaning that's their favorite member of Bone. Every one of them, every single last Krayzie Bone First Bone fan, their favorite Krayzie Bone song of all time is Mo Murda, Murda Mo, Mo Murder, whichever one you want of that one, from the Mo Thugs and from the Thug Mentality 99. You could pick and choose, you could replace them, reverse them, but Mo Murder, Murda Mo, that's the number one by far. Okay, it's the Jerry Rice records, NFL records of Krayzie Bone songs. But the number 2, the Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Larry Fitzgerald, the number 2 is Talk to Myself. Some might say, no, it's Heated Heavy. But I don't know. And if that's the case, then see, there you go. I use that example of Moss and T.O. you can't really say, is it heated heavy or is it talk to myself? It's like Moss and Tio. You know, one might have more yards, the other has more touchdowns, but it's neck and neck. But it's not Mo Murder. Murder Mo is number. Okay, well, Neighborhood Slang is right in there too. So Neighborhood Slang is Larry Fitz. But in that top 5, let's just say in the top 5, Talk to Myself by Krayzie Bone consistently makes that list. And you know, I think when I start saying Bone fans, I should refer to which specific Bone member first fan they are. Because busy first fans are colossally different than crazy first fans. And then there's always the strange Flesh and Bone first fans. Those are always the most intriguing people to talk to. There's rarely a Lazy Bone or Wishbone for the ones that claim Wishbone first are just doing it for the laughs or the lulz or whatever. But Krayzie Bone fans, as you just heard this top 5 that I just said, and I'm not necessarily saying this is my top 5. This is just what I've generally seen over the 30 years. It's Murder Mo Murder, then a different arrangement of Neighborhood Slang, Heated Heavy, Talk to Myself, and then whatever the 5th is, it's whatever the flavor is of the moment. But those 4 are the Rice, T.O., Moss, Fitz. Additionally, I myself am a Krayzie Bone first, Krayzie Bone always fan. And so when I'm saying these, if I'm labeling crazy fans as a different breed, which busy fans are a different breed too, but the crazy fans seem to be like me where they appreciate some of the softer stuff, because outside of Heated Heavy, the other 3 are fairly soft. I mean, the lyrics to Murder Mo are pretty dangerous, but it's not a rap song, right? And Talk to Myself, while it's a rap song, it's not a rap song that you would play to some East Coast hip hop heads. And Neighborhood Slang, you know, that one sometimes makes number 1 on the list. So as I was saying, Murder Mo was the Krayzie Bone. Many say, hey, if Neighborhood Slang was a full-length song, that would be my number 1, myself included. But that just shows what the crazy fan wants out of the music. It's not always the thug mentality. Although let me qualify one type of crazy fan that I am not, that I don't enjoy. I am not the Leatherface type of, I call it the Leatherface style. I'm not into that at all. Although there's a few Leatherface style songs I'm good with, but overall I could deal with like 1 song per album. I don't want to hear a whole album of that style, but there are some crazy fans that do prefer that. It's not too many of them though. And now the Talk to Myself one, that makes sense. The instrumental's cool. It's got Tiffany on it. So she's not Thug Line, but that's a good feature. Everything about that song is cool. The Time After Time song, though, it's a real cornball kind of instrumental, but people love it. And including myself. Like I'm saying, I'm knocking it. It sounds like I'm knocking it, but I'm not. I'm just acknowledging the reality of it versus the spoken reality. The spoken reality is we're all tough guys. We don't smile. But then there's the things that aren't consistent. It's like, all right, if we're all such badasses, why is it that we all like Talk to Myself and Time After Time? By the way, I'm not calling myself a badass, but I know all you guys think you're tough guys, big guys, and that's good. I'm glad you do. I'm just trying to say, hey man, get in touch with your softer side, man. Enjoy what it is your spirit actually enjoys. Don't let the other guys take that away from you. And if you do like this stuff, just embrace it.
Too many wanna be hard, be easy. It's all in together. Go.
The more you embrace it, the more you'll get. A guy that knows what he wants gets what he wants. You know, with Busy, people always say, oh yeah, Heaven's Movie and The Gift. But with Krayzie, they just say Thug Mentality 99. And they don't acknowledge anything else Krayzie did. It's, oh yeah, Thug Mentality 99. And maybe some say Gemini because they like the album cover. The crazier part, as I was thinking about this before recording, I was like, you know, I might have actually listened to Thug on the Line more than I listened to Thug Mentality 99, but simply because of circumstances. This came out right when I got like my second job out of college and I had to drive like an hour each direction to get there. So I was in the car 2 hours and this came out at the same time. So I'd play this every day on the way to work. And I think eventually is when I cut all the other guys out. And the reason why I didn't like the Thugline artists, it's the same reason I didn't like Mo Thugs 3. At the time, even to this day, I'm not a fan of East Coast sounding rappers. Actually, I'm just not a fan of rapping ass rappers. I know that triggers everybody. They get upset like, oh, you don't like hip hop then. I don't know. Maybe I don't. Or maybe I've heard 10 million rap songs and they're all starting to sound the same at this point and everybody's copying each other doing the same thing. I want something unique. And that would go for all genres of music, like country music. It's like, all that's the same. Dance music, it's all the same. It's all the same house beat. Rock music, all eventually sounds the same. So I'm always looking for something unique and different outside the bounds, and not different just to be different. There was that one guy recently, was it Tyler, the Creator. That first song he had was cool. After that, it just kind of lost its appeal. But if you're just a rapper that has a few cool punchlines and some similes, but you're just rapping on a loop or a sample or something repeated, and you're doing what 50 million people already did decades ago. And I was talking to my cousin, not the one I always talk about, but another cousin. I was like, you know what it is that the rappers today are actually better than the rappers from the 90s. But the reason we don't like the rappers of today is because they're not doing anything new and cutting edge. They've just perfected what the 90s rappers were in the process of perfecting. So the rappers today are actually more talented as far as like the skills and delivery wise than the 90s rappers were, but they lack in creativity. And so when I heard the artists from Thugline as well as Mo Thug 3, I just wondered, what is this? Like Mo Thugs 1 and 2 made sense to me because the artists sounded like in the style of Bone. Poetic Hustlers, Graveyard Shift, Too True, all that made, Soulja Boy, all that made sense. It was in the style of St. Clair and all that. But when I heard Mo Thug 3, I was like, okay, I don't, how is this connected? This is just, they just picked up some rappers and threw them on an album. And Thugline for Krayzie Bone, I'm like, oh, for a guy that's so creative, looking for cutting edge things, you found the most basic rappers that are just rapping. They're just straightforward rappers with nothing unique, charisma, special style, something new. They just sounded like every other rapper. They're good. They're good basic rappers, but what did they bring that wasn't already brought to the game? Big Boy from Outkast lamented this a long time ago. He said, hey, it's like we're at a picnic and everybody's bringing carrots. Somebody's got to bring some peas. Somebody's got to bring some mashed potatoes, but everybody's bringing the same meal to the picnic. We need some variety. And I thought the Thugline guys sounded like East Coast rappers. And I'm a West Coast fanatic. I love G-Funk. I love Bay Area rappers. I also love down South rappers. I'm from, the South, but before the South was a major force, the West Coast was the major force. And I always took the side in the East-West war with the West. But really, I could narrow it down to the funky worm. I love that funky worm. You put the funky worm in a song, the Ohio Players' funky worm. You know that, like Ice Cube on, how we do it. Love Tupac, love Too Short, love E40. Love MC8, Compton's Most Wanted, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Ruthless Records, Death Row Records, Young Black Brother Records, Mac Ball, Young Lay, all them dudes, NWA, Eazy-E. So I'm a West Coast guy. Bone went to the West Coast. They didn't go to New York, right? So that's why I like Bone too. Their first album sounded like a G-Funk album. But, and so I thought that Bone should stay with the West Coast, Midwest sound, not do an East sound. And the reason I don't like the East Coast is because everything on the East Coast sounds identical, okay? Everything sounds the same to me, at least at the time. And all the rappers just imitate each other's rap style. There's nothing unique about it. And also with the West Coast, I left out Warren G and Nate Dogg. Dude, Regulate, to me, was the blueprint for what became Bone Thugs and Harmony. In fact, when I got that Warren G album, I was kind of disappointed that I was like, I was hoping this would be a whole album in the style of Regulate. It was a good album, that Regulate, the G-Funk era album. It's a great album by Warren G. Once I got over that it wasn't going to be all like Regulate. But, let alone that Warren G didn't do that, I thought to myself, yo, someone's got to do a whole album like this. To the point where when the Dove Shack came out, I thought, okay, here we go. This is going to be my envisionment. I get the Dove Shack album, and it's not all like Summertime in the LBC or the other track. I don't know why. This formula is still sitting out there for the taking. The Regulate style, the Dove Shack style, early East 99 Eternal Bone style. Additionally, watch this. I think the reason why us Bone fans are not satisfied with the solo albums, most Bone fans think it's because I want to see all the guys together, right? But I don't think that's it. I mean, well, okay, part of that, and I got this from a comedian, because Busy was the first, well, Flesh was the first to go solo, but when Busy went solo, there was this comedian that said, yo, this guy Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, keyword and harmony, decided to go solo. If you have a harmony, you need more than one voice. Hearing just Busy Bone's voice without the compliments of the other voices of the group, it doesn't make sense, and it goes completely against the name Bone Thugs and Harmony for you to just go be 1/5 of the style. So yeah, the harmony is lost when they go solo. So that's probably the big primary reason we don't really like the solo albums. It's got to be, right? But another thing that I haven't really seen realized by anybody is that these solo albums fall into the formulaic verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. One of the magical things of early Bone was the unorthodox arrangement of the songs. For instance, and this is kind of a famous thing, and I even remember thinking of this at the time, the format for the Crossroads, the big song, you know, not Crossroad, but the Crossroads. If you look at how that song is arranged, all the verses and the stuff, it's so out of the ordinary. I also think that might be part of why it was such a big song, was we never heard a song in that kind of an order. There was no real structure to it. Then you think of Everyday Thing, which is consistently Bone fans' favorites, you know, in their top songs, in their songs where they say, this is the formula. Everyday Thing is the formula. You think of a song like East 1999, which I think that's the most unsung Bone single of them all. That song is phenomenal. How hip-hop did not embrace the song East 99. That song, there's no chorus, and it doesn't even matter. There's a chorus at the end, East 99, but the whole song, from Lazy kicking and think about back in the day, all the way to the end, there's no chorus in between. Additionally, I've said this before on the channel, but if you haven't done this, listen to the acapella for the song East 99. It is a song into itself. The acapella is so enchanted, so remarkable, that it literally does not need an instrumental. I'm dead serious. Go listen to the acapella. Your brain either fills it in or doesn't even desire it. It's that good. And it's never even mentioned in Best Bone Songs. The album East 1999 Eternal is, but the song East 1999 is phenomenal. And later on, like where we are now in life, I prefer hearing the song East 1999 over First of the Month. I'm so tired of First of the Month. First of the Month is formulaic. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. East 99 is just nothing but what you want to hear. So I think these solo albums lack in that unorthodox approach to making the songs. Not only that, on all these songs, all the early Bone songs we love, like Everyday Thing, when Busy comes in, little rips that come on, sit is the bedroom, all those like neat things that would happen. And that's why I like that Night Riders track on here, because it's going back to the exploration of what's possible in a song. And that's what early Bone did. They did the unexpected. As the solo albums happen, every now and then something unique happens, like Murder Mo. So Hard to Let Go could have been great if they made it a full-length song. Straight Insane, very explorative. I don't even know if that came out on an album. Whereas with like the West Coast, you know it's E40, you know it's Too Short, you know it's Eazy-E. Now there are a few exceptions to East Coast like Busta Rhymes, DMX, Method Man, Redman, but and all those guys I did like those guys were in my club of acceptable East Coast guys. But after, you know, Wu-Tang and Nas came out, it was like a gazillion rap and a million rappers sound like Jada Kiss, and I just don't like it. And it was like, if the music wasn't made in New York, it doesn't count. It's like it's kind of like, you know, champagne has to come from France. Otherwise it's sparkling wine. And like the way the New Yorkers were trying to frame things at one point is like, if it's not from New York, it doesn't count as hip hop. And I'm like, dog, you don't own music. Music belongs to everybody. So anyway, with that was my one thing I don't like about this album, and it's the only thing, is there's two things. One is, I just, hey, if you like the Thug Line artists, you could like them, okay? Just because I don't like them doesn't mean you can't like them. And maybe I would like them. I don't know. I just never listened to them. I just heard the sound. I was like, no, I don't do that. But the other thing is, like, this felt too much like somebody said, all right, Krayzie, we have to really go overboard with the whole definition of a thug. And so all these titles, a Thugger Level, Ride the Thug Line, If You a Thug, Thug on the Line, The Thugs. I was so over-thugged. Everybody want to be thugs. There was 6 songs that had that in the title. Now, you could say, hey, Johnny boy, it's consistent with the album title. It's thematic. It's Thug on the Line. He's describing the thug mentality again. Yes, of course. It was just way too much. Way too much. But I like the album. So let's go through the tracks. Y'all Don't Know Me. Excellent song. Excellent chorus. Excellent way to open the album. Track 2, Ride the Thug Line. That little whistling at the beginning, everything about that was cool too. Great track. 3, Can't Hustle Forever. I don't know. That was a good song too. Talk to Myself. Obviously. Fan favorite. I think that's everybody's favorite song. I think people like Talk to Myself, number 1, Time After Time, number 2, and Hard Time Hustling. In ways I feel like people just mention like as an honorable mention. Track 5, Thugger Level. That's the one with Boss. I think that track is the bomb. In fact, I think the peak moment of the album is the very beginning of the song. There is an actual instrumental build-up intro for the instrumental at the beginning. It builds, and then Boss just comes through and slays it. Check it out.
Big ballin' bitch, like boss come through like it ain't no thing. Paper, J's hustling, nothing changed. Ask me again, I tell you the same. Don't hustle the fame, nigga, muscle the game.
See, like that part of the album when it went from Talk to Myself blending into Thugger Level, that was my favorite tandem. You know, that was the just press play aspect. Just let those two ride together. All right, now track 6, The Thugs. That one was repetitive, although it was still cool though. Like I'm saying, it's repetitive, and it was. I'd have to be by myself to listen to that, because if I was with people, they'd just be like, "Hey John, hey, is it the dogs?" And they'd probably say it all day, like, "Hey, it's the dogs." So that one's a little repetitive. I'm putting that one near the bottom of the album. If They Only Knew, cool track. I don't give a fuck, which was confusing at the time. I think when I got the album, I thought, oh boy, they put the Little John song on the album. No. In ways, I'm happy I got it. I think I Don't Give a Fuck is one of my favorite tracks on.
When you've been talking, now we caught you, bitch, now. I don't give a fuck about you jumping up, acting like you're crazy. The Hollywood niggas can't fade.
That song's great. All right, track 9, Time After Time. Obviously, it's the number 2 track on the album. Ride If You Like. I like the track, but I cut everybody else out other than Krayzie Bone and Larice. 11, If You a Thug. I like the little whistling at the beginning. I think I cut everybody out except Krayzie Bone and Larice once again. Hard Time Hustling. Obviously, it's a single. It's Sade. It's got a music video. Great track. 13, Gemini. Every time I try to use my mind. In fact, we could say it's iconic. Gemini. It's Krayzie's birth sign. He named the following album Gemini itself. Good vs. Evil. So yeah, Gemini it's iconic. It's an iconic Krayzie Bone track. It's not my favorite, but it's on my top list for this album. It's one of the standout tracks on the album. I obviously know that the things I'm saying are colossally cringe and unacceptable to probably a lot of you. I know that. I say all these things because I believe that these are the things some of the viewers that agree with me want to say. So I'm like the people's representative, offering some of these thoughts out there, saying them out loud in hopes that one day their perspective can be appreciated and not clowned. Because right now, the only allowable thing is the thugs. And I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to get the harmony back. And because we got a gazillion, put it this way, okay? For 20 plus years with all these solos and half-assed albums, people aren't satisfied with these Bone things. And it's because they're getting the thuggish, ruggish Bone, and they want the thugs in harmony. That's what I think. Now, they would say, no, I just want the East 99 Eternal. Okay, well, go examine that album and figure out what it is you like about it. And then they'd say, yeah, I like the East 99 style. It's a blend. It's a perfect blend there, John. It's not all harmony, and it's not all thuggish, ruggish. And I'd say, you know what, you're right. But I would also say, now that we have that established, that's why we have to appreciate all of it and not just advocate for one. Because I do agree. The Eternal is the perfect blend. Back to the album. The track, I Don't Know What, featuring Kellis. I thought the instrumental was a little repetitive, but I also found myself just leaving it on, but really just leaving it on, wishing for it to be over. And it makes me, when I think about how it begins, it makes me realize that I always played Gemini through to its conclusion and thought that the next song came in good, like it blended well, was the right following track. I just didn't enjoy it, but I'd endure it. The Rollin' Up Some Mo track, it's interesting. It has an instrumental that reminds me of Peeps in the PJs by Big Daddy Kane, like a posse cut, and it is a posse cut with a bunch of Thugline artists. I'm pretty sure I cut everybody out besides Krayzie and Larice. It wasn't one of my favorites. It was whatever. It was cute. They did the little bit of Tina in my life. It was a parody of another song. Cute. Wasn't for me. Now, Everybody Wanna Be Thugs. Now, I was making fun of all the thug stuff, but the way Everybody Wanna Be Thugs was recorded and structured, and the instrumental tone sounds, it has like the dark vibe. It has like a Thug Mentality vibe to it, but also you could say almost an Eternal vibe to it. Not all the way Eternal, but it had the sound. It had the Bone sound that I'm after. Krayzie's hooks was good. His verses were good. The only thing I remember thinking was like feeling funny about how structured the song felt. And also, I also felt it silly of the concept of it because it had been done a gazillion times before. And I'm just like, all right, well, this is Krayzie's rendition of, hey, you don't really want to be a gangster. And the reason why I'm making fun of it is in the movie Fear of a Black Hat, there's a song called You Don't Want to Be a Gangster.
Get up in the top shelf clothes, go fucking the top shelf hoes. And I'm the man they call number one. Don't try to shit at home, a gangster's life ain't fun.
Tell him that's the mad head of ice. Don't be drooling while he's schooling, cause you'll be losing. We coming to you on the E-Pod tip.
And there's a music video for it. And in the video, he's like in a hot tub with naked girls and gold chains and money falling from the ceiling. And he's like, no, you don't want to be a gangster. You don't want to be a gangster. But the whole entire video is him having all the things that people want. No, you don't want to be a gangster. Everybody want to be thugs. They really don't. Because if they lived my life, they'd understand. All right, Bloody Murder. I'm surprised that this track isn't listed more. It's track 17. It's an interlude. But it's along the lines of Mr. Ouija and Murder Mo and all those things that I feel like this one got lost. Bloody Murder. Then The Night Riders was here. I love this track. Can't you feel the temperature? They're getting cold. Oh, no. It's my favorite Night Rider track. And there's even like a climax to the song.
As pirates be heartless, my conscience was fucking with me. I shot him. He ain't got 'em all. Believe me. Then I learned crazy. And I'm silent.
Ready for Combat feels like a sequel to Dummy Man. Like when I hear it, I just think of the Dummy Man.
Dum, 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 dum. I bring you the line. Don't they want to see me fall?
But it has nothing to do with the Dummy Man. But it just sounds like it would have been the intro skit for Dummy Man. And then the last track, the final track, Thug on the Line, it feels like an East Coast posse cut. It's not what I'm into. But, you know, it is there. It's not a bad song. It's good if you like East Coast rap. I don't like it at all. And, you know, by me saying that, I know East Coast fans are like, what the hell, bro? How are you a hip-hop fan? You don't like East Coast hip-hop. I have a long history of reasons why. But mainly it's because of the lack of originality and how it all sounds the same to me. And how most of them are afraid to go outside the box. And they all stay within the lines and they're unimaginative, uncreative. And whatever tricky punchlines they might have or double entendres or whatever, it's all within the rules that have already been established. I feel that East Coast rap is afraid to take risks. And that's why I say I'm good with Busta Rhymes. I'm good with DMX. They took risks. They went outside the box. And Method Man and Redman at times together would go outside the box. But most East Coast hip hop stay in the box. They follow the format and they never deviate from it. They're afraid to be individuals. I am into individuality. I'm not into collectivism. I'm into uniqueness. I'm into going against the boundaries, stretching the limits of what's possible. I mean, it's pretty evident based on all the things that I say, right? None of this is acceptable in hip hop the way I'm talking about these things. But I do it, and I'm doing it to wake people up. They're going to say things about me. They're going to think, oh, this guy's a lame, this guy, whatever. Yeah, dude, whatever. Trying to wake you up. Trying to help you get outside the collective, the groups, the cliques. They own your mind. Develop an individual opinion on things. Develop an individual taste. And if you have a taste, state it. Say, this is what my taste likes. Besides, you are a Bone Thugs and Harmony fan. Hip hop does not like Bone Thugs and Harmony. Okay? So don't play by hip hop's rules. Bone tried to get their love around 2009, doing the death of autotune, doing the cypher, doing all that hip-hop stuff. And as Krayzie pointed out a couple years later, it seems like I'm waiting for never. Just waiting on the day when everybody would just recognize. But then I realize I'm waiting for never. If Krayzie's waiting for never, do you think you are going to ever get the approval from hip-hop that you seek out and desire? No. Unless you obey all of the silly lunacy thoughts that hip-hop has, which I will be discussing in future videos. Hey, but jokes aside, trigger warnings aside, silliness aside, think about this right now, all right? And because if you're defending hip-hop, think about this. Hip-hop does not have Krayzie Bone in their top 10 or Busy Bone. Okay? Do you think Nas or Jay-Z or Biggie or any of these guys are better than Bone? These guys went to Bone to put them on their album, or they were too scared to do an album with these guys. So no, I don't respect the opinion of hip-hop until they surrender to my demands this time. I spent a lifetime of going around hip-hop's demands. It's time for them to recognize Krayzie and Busy or the group Bone Thugs and Harmony. When they don't even put Bone Thugs and Harmony in the top 10 groups of all time, you still want to obey the cult of hip-hop? If they don't recognize your favorite group that has 30 years of albums, 30 years of hits, 30 years of singles, 200 plus albums, 250 plus music videos. Actually, I think we finished around 300 music videos. They've done everything. No group, not a single group has done what Bone Thugs and Harmony have done. I've seen them put Mobb Deep on a top 10 list and not Bone, okay? But hip hop doesn't acknowledge Bone Thugs and Harmony. And you're going to judge me for not cooperating with the culture style, the way to express things for hip hop? No. F them until they recognize, I realize that I am waiting for never, so I am not going to wait for never. I am going to definitively state that Krayzie Bone and Bizzy Bone are two of the greatest rappers of all time, if not the greatest, just due in fact to the pure longevity. Every year Bones puts something out for 30 years. Enormous catalog that they have. Take any individual rapper or group's entire catalog, top 50 songs of theirs versus Bones' top 50. Bone Thugs and Harmony's top 50 songs collectively across the entire universe. Take their top 50 versus Bones' top 50. And you know what? You may be able to find one or two groups that could actually outdo them, but you're not keeping Bone out of the top 10 by doing this exercise. Bones always got the Crossroads in there. Bones always got First of the Month in there. Bones always got Notorious Thugs in there. Bones always got Thuggish Ruggish Bone in there. Bones always got I Tried in there. Bones always got Breakdown in there. Bones always got Thug Love. And a Grammy of Riding Dirty with Chamillionaire. But Jay-Z being at the top of most people's best rappers list, give me a break. Give me Jay-Z's top 50 versus Bones' top 50. It's not even close. Not even close. Who? Nas? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. The hip hop person, when they hear me say that, they're losing their ish right now. That I dare say that Krayzie and Bizzy are better than Nas and Jay-Z. No, I definitively say that. If you took Jay-Z and Nas and put them outside of New York, yeah, they would get the same treatment. Jay-Z and Nas get the New York treatment of, oh, you're in New York, so you count. Bone Thugs and Harmony, you're from Cleveland, Ohio, you don't count. F that. F that. And if you continue to support that, you're not helping your favorite group. Bone fans need to start demanding and quantifying and proving and making the case. I mean, that's what I did a couple weeks ago when I showed you all the music videos they have. That the people recognize, and not even small. It's almost like Bone fans feel bad about it because they've been browbeat their whole life. Oh, well, you know, maybe Wu-Tang's better. What? No. Oh, well, you know, maybe Outkast is better. All right, maybe Outkast. They do have the #1 selling album of all time. However, they don't have the quantity and longevity that Bone has. Outkast has a lot of big songs, but I still think Bone's got more big songs. Wu-Tang? Bro. Bone's got... You could... If you do a Wu-Tang's greatest hits versus Bone's greatest hits, once you get past Cream, what do they got? Protect Your Neck? And when I say that, I mean in terms of... Like, yeah, man, this is fucking hip hop. Nah. Bone Thugs and Harmony, #1. #1. If you want to say Run DMC because they came before him, fine. Bone's in the top 5. I rarely see Bone in the top 5. How is Tribe Called Quest getting inducted into the hip hop, to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before Bone Thugs and Harmony? Tribe Called Quest? Are you kidding me, bro? I'll concede Outkast to Bone because Outkast, I mean, everybody in the whole world loves them. Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang, Outkast, there could be arguments of them. Okay, NWA, sure. And Beastie Boys, sure. Outside of that, but that's still not knocking Bone out the top 10. Who else is knocking Bone out the top 10? Onyx? MOP? Mobb Deep? Who's knocking Bone out of the top 10? EPMD? Come on. So that's my review of Thug on the Line. So let me give you my top 5 favorite tracks. Obviously, top 1, Talk to Myself. And I don't think I'm alone on that. Second, Time After Time. And I don't think I'm alone on that. And by me saying that, it's me implying that, yeah, I know everything I said is inappropriate. But yet, if you look at it, how is it that what I just said is true? Those are everybody's favorite 2 songs on this album. When I say I like the more harmony, people are like, nah, I want that Thug shit. I'm like, okay, but why is Thug on the Line? Why is it Time After Time and Talk to Myself? It's not consistent with what y'all telling me. If everybody was who they said they were, these wouldn't even be listed. Let's go to #3. My third favorite is Everybody Wanna Be Thugs, primarily for the sound of the song. The subject matter I don't really care too much about, but the song sounds excellent. My 4 would be Gemini. #5 would be the Knight Rider song. #6, I'd say I Don't Give a Fuck. Actually, no. Let me back all this up. My #3 is A Thug a Level. My #4 is Everybody Wanna Be Thugs. My #5 is Gemini. My #6 is I Don't Give a Fuck. My number 7, I guess, Hard Time Hustling, but I don't care for that. I heard that song enough times. I don't need to hear that anymore. And I like Ride If You Like. Geez, I'm all over the place. Let me recap. Number 1, Talk to Myself. Number 2, Time After Time. Number 3, Thugger Level. Number 4, Gemini. Number 5, Everybody Wanna Be Thugs. That's my top 5. So I want to hear what your top 5 is. I'm curious to find out if Talk to Myself and Time After Time are your number 1 and 2 from Thug on the Line. Additionally, where do you think this album ranks in all the Krayzie Bone albums? Even the songs that I don't like, that I said are East Coast sounding songs, they're not bad songs. Like if I was into that kind of rap, I would think that those are excellent tracks. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just not my, it's just filler to me. It's just, they're not trying to do anything outside the box with it. They're just trying to get their rap on. There's a million rappers getting their rap on. I don't come to Bone Thugs and Harmony to hear rappers get their rap on. I come for a unique experience. And that's what Talk to Myself did. That's what Time After Time did. That's what Thugger Level did. That's what Gemini did. That's what the Night Riders did. So that's why that's my top 5, is all those tracks went outside the boundaries of what's acceptable to Thuggish Ruggish Bone. And that's what I'm looking for. So sound off in the comments. You feel free to say how wrong I am and how outside of the culture I am and how I don't get it. None of it matters to me. I know what I like, and I'm speaking on those because in private, many tell me that, yeah, man, I like exactly what you like. But I know the group would think it's kind of cornballish to say it. So I'm saying it for those that can't say it. I have no problem being the cornball. Also, there's a disclaimer at the beginning of this video that these are just opinions. And I want you guys to know that my opinion is far removed from Cecil West's opinion. So don't use anything I say against him. We have complete opposite perspectives on this thing. I represent the harmony. He represents the Thuggish Ruggish Bone. That dichotomy is what makes the show work. Like I said, my thoughts are my thoughts. His thoughts are his thoughts. And his world, he's entitled to his entire opinion. I'm entitled to mine. And you don't have to agree with mine. You could all side with Cecil, and that's great. I hope you do. But I'm not even trying to win friends and influence people. I'm just trying to be the example to show, speak your mind, be an individual, know what you like, voice your opinion, stand tall, stand proud, stand strong, stand for what you believe in. The sooner we as Bone Thugs and Harmony fans stop giving a crap about playing by hip hop's rules, worrying about what hip hop will think of us or our group, is the sooner that we will achieve. We'll no longer be waiting for never. We will be getting the props that Bone deserves. But so long as you stay in their wizard circle, stay in their world of their rules, of their criteria, and not demonstrating factually the statistical supremacy that Bone has in their 30-year career, until you guys do that, they will continue to win. But as soon as you begin to employ our data-driven metrics of superiority of 30 years, 3 decades of excellence, when we do that, then we'll get that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Until then, they dictate the rules, they being hip-hop, not us. They set all the boundaries, they set all the goalposts, and they continue to win. And we will continue to wait for never until you guys start furnishing the details. And like 5 years ago, Cecil, myself, and Ty Wise did a 3-part series showing the best Bone song by year. And there was a new song every single year from 93, 94, all the way to 2018 when we did the exercise. And they haven't stopped since. In fact, they've upped their quantity. That's what I'm doing, but I'm doing it for you, for reals. I'm Jonathan Lippy on behalf of Beyond the Harmony. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.